Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor, bringing you another video on how to raise your vibrations so you can live your best life. Let's talk about the 7 Essene Mirrors. So you may or may not have noticed that as you go throughout life, that everything in life is sending you messages. Every person you speak to, every song that's playing over the PA in the grocery store, every book title, there's always a message everywhere you go. And the 7 Essene Mirrors is a great structure for helping us kind of understand how the world is reflecting these messages to us. So life is always giving us feedback, and it is really critical that we are looking for the messages, the feedback. It's kind of it's a feedback system that kind of lets you know where you're at and are you on the right track? Is there something you need to adjust or adapt, or what do you need to know or shift and change in this moment? And oftentimes I love to use the example of how truth resonates in the body, that you will often get a sense of things feeling right. We feel this sense of expansion, our shoulders open, our chest comes forward. We feel lighter when we are on the right track, or when we're thinking positive thoughts, or when we're interpreting the messages accurately. That's your yes. When we are not feeling good, when we feel contraction, we feel restricted, we feel heavy, we feel dense, we feel depressed, that is an indication that something is off. And it may not be that the complete and total project that you're working on or thought that you've had is completely wrong, but there may just need to be a shift there. So you want to be careful not to throw the baby out with the bathwater. But there is that feedback system, the emotional system within your body that's letting you know, are you on the right track or are you not? And so as we go through these mirrors, keep in mind the bodily feedback thing can help you understand how to interpret these mirrors. I love that the term sin that they have used for so long really just means missing the mark. And these mirrors and our bodily feedback system, the emotion feedback system, the emotional guidance system are amazing, awesome, tremendous tools that can help us understand how to get back on track, or how to hit the mark appropriately and not miss the mark, if you will. So, what are the mirrors? The first mirror is called the mirror of movement. So essentially the way you move throughout the world is the way the world is going to be reflected to you. You've heard people say that, it's kind of like karma, right? What you put out there comes back to you. The way you feel is going to be reflected back to you. So if you're feeling irritated and angry and aggressive, you're going to find people and situations that are reflecting that back to you. Maybe people are angry and aggressive back towards you, or it may also be that the situations that are coming, that are provoking or seemingly provoking, will help you by engaging, or provoking is the best word, provoking you to continue to respond that way, to help you see what needs to be shifted and adapted. Now, the second mirror is the mirror of judgment. And the mirror of judgment is a fantastic component or partner to, complement to the first mirror, because there are times when the reflection is not an internal mirror, when the reflection may be rather around the judgment that you are allowing to fester within you, or even projecting at other people. And so what we dislike or what we judge is reflected back at us. And so it's oftentimes really critically important that we're honest with ourselves in engaging how to interpret these reflections, because oftentimes it's not things that we want to acknowledge. It's things that we don't want to admit. That's why they're in our blind spot, and that's why these mirrors are here. The third mirror is the mirror of love. Sometimes said the mirror of lost love, sometimes said the mirror of sacred relationships. And it is the feeling of being drawn to someone because they possess or project something in you that you feel you may have lost or repressed or forgotten. Essentially, you may find that you're attracted to a partner because they possess these characteristics that you possess within yourself that have been latent, or that are calling you to bring them forth. And there have been times where people will end in a relationship and feel that they have lost this characteristic or personality trait because they lost their partner, when really that was the characteristic or personality trait within them asking to be called forward. And so when we say we feel magnetic attraction, there's often something in that person that we are that is being reflected back to us, so that we can see that part of ourselves and work towards integrating this character trait and strengthening it, growing it, amplifying it. And then it's also been said that oftentimes relationships will fade away when we have integrated those characteristics. Where are we at? Fourth mirror, the mirror of compulsion or obsession, is around addictive or compulsive behaviors, that they reflect back to us the parts of ourselves that we have been willing to give away when we want to avoid uncomfortable emotions. Oftentimes, addiction is driven by uncomfortable emotions, unmet emotional needs. And this mirror teaches us self-love, that when we are willing to have the discipline necessary to refrain from obsession, refrain from addiction, that we are inevitably forced to embrace the emotions that we are initially trying to cope with or numb out or avoid. And addiction is driven by emotional pain, that the true problem is the discomfort with our lives, with ourselves, with our emotions, and what we are lacking. Instead of meeting those needs for ourselves, we turn to addictive or compulsive behavior to distract, avoid, numb out, and not feel the things that need to be dealt with. And so when we first start to feel that way, we can look at the compulsion towards addiction or obsessive behaviors of any kind, and recognize, ask the questions, what's behind this, what's driving this, what is the emotional need that needs to be met here, and how can I meet that in a healthy, resourceful way. I think I did get a little confused. Number 3 was the mirror of lost love. Number 5 is the mirror of sacred relationships. And when that mirror reflects to us essentially the relationship with our earthly parent, and how that also mirrors our relationship with our heavenly parent, and how that plays out in our relationships with our partners. So our relationship with our parents influences our vision and our faith towards the feminine and the masculine aspects of the divine. A positive and or negative experience will create templates for love. It's how we treat ourselves, and it's also how we treat our partners. And how we treat ourselves is reflected in how we treat our partners until we transform those patterns. So in a relationship dynamic with others who we do not treat properly, we want to take a look at where are we not treating ourselves properly in that same vein, and how did we gain this template from our relationships with our parents, and how can we improve our relationship with the divine. They're all interconnected, and the mirrors are beautiful. The 6th mirror is the mirror of the dark night of the soul, which many people on this channel have experienced and come to this channel for. The dark night of the soul is a gift, even though it may not seem like it while we're in it. It is where we do the deep inner healing work, where everything we thought we knew fades away. The old fades away so that we can build anew. It is that crumbling tower moment where everything seems to fall apart, but really it's just falling into place. It is the fading away of everything you thought you knew. It calls for a collapse so that you can rebuild. And most importantly, it allows us to reframe and shift, because it is ultimately our perspective that colors and taints how we view the world and how we perceive life is intended to be lived. And then finally, they say the most difficult mirror, and I will honestly acknowledge that in my life, this was probably the last piece to fall into place. And it is the mirror of divine order. The trusting that everything is perfect as it is. That everything is in divine order, always, and in all ways. foregoing any kind of attachment, foregoing any kind of a judgment, complete and total non-resistance. This is where everything opens up for you. When you can fully, completely, and totally at a core cellular bodily level believe, know, and allow that everything is in divine order. Everything is always working itself out. It's not up to you to figure out or fix. All we have to do is manage our internal environment, which is being reflected to us through all of these mirrors. That if we can learn to feel emotion without distortion, and here's where it gets a little tricky. If you understand the difference between emotion and feeling, emotion comes from the body. It is energy in motion. But it is feelings that are distorted by the stories we tell ourselves. So first comes the emotion, then comes the story of what that emotion means, and then comes the feeling that stems from the story, the meaning we have assigned. And so if we can just feel and just be in the emotion without the distortion of the stories. There's going to be another video coming very soon. Emotions are absolutely critical, and we have not fully understood them, and there is power in them that is being revealed or asked to be shared. So that will be a fun one to come through, but just know that we need to be able to be in the emotion. It is the exact opposite of everything we've been taught by society. Emotion creates worlds. It is our power source. And to learn to be present with them, be in them, sit in the eye of the storm and let them swirl around and notice them, move through them, but don't distort them, trusting that everything is in divine order. That's what this mirror is all about. It is true and total surrender. So I hope this helps. Definitely let me know how you're seeing the mirrors play out in your life. I absolutely love just how, a book title or a magazine cover or a song on the radio or a song at the store or something somebody says in passing, they just happen to have these little tidbits of information. So do share with the community. What is your favorite memory of how these mirrors have reflected to you something that has helped you level up or shift and change or change perspective or step into a higher and greater level of love, trust, and surrender? All right, with that, I will close. I love you guys so much. Please do like, subscribe, and share. A simple emoji comment is extremely helpful for the YouTube algorithm, so I would be greatly appreciative if you would offer me that gift in service for this video. Otherwise, please do click this button if you have not yet subscribed. I will make sure you are notified of the next video if you use the little bell icon. Otherwise, you can check out this video to continue the conversation. Until next time. All right, I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Namaste, my loves.